The blockbuster trade that rocked the NBA last week finally got completed last night. Celtics sending the Cavs a second-round pick in 2020 as added compensation in the deal that sends Kyrie Irving to Boston and Isaiah Thomas to Cleveland. Wow.
Done.
It took finally
happened.
So much time to get done, right? All right, let's get a little more perspective here. Michael Leaves along with Lisa Kearney. Bring in Chris Forsberg. Of course, he covers the Celtics for us on a daily basis, and he's been locked into this deal for more than a week. Seems like we've all been locked into it now, Chris. So it's finally over. And let me ask you this. Considering what was at stake here for both teams, but especially Boston, why did it take Danny Ainge so long to throw in a second-round pick 3 years from now just to get this deal done?
Yeah, Michael, thank goodness it's finally over. It feels like everyone was here in limbo. You know, when it comes down to it, is clearly the Cavaliers saw something when they got a chance to examine Isaiah Thomas's hip that they were concerned about. And let's be honest, the Celtics felt like they were very transparent throughout this process, but even they weren't certain when exactly Isaiah Thomas was going to be ready for the season. I do think from a Celtics perspective, they felt like they factored in that injury risk, the fact that Isaiah Thomas is going to be a free agent after the season, into that initial package. Parting with that 2008 Brooklyn Nets unprotected first-round pick was a lot to give up when you consider you're also adding Isaiah when he's on the court, he's a top 5 MVP candidate, Jay Crowder and Ante Zizic. I just feel like the Celtics were very reluctant to have to part with anything else, especially because they felt like they were forthcoming with everything. But eventually, if it was going to take a 2020 second-round pick to get this thing to the finish line, they were willing to do that.
And Cavs push hard for that first-round pick,
yes, absolutely.
too. Focusing on Boston here, their 53-win team last season have rebuilt around Gordon Hayward, now Kyrie Irving. With their treasure trove of picks, they were positioned to be the team to beat in the East down the road. How do they feel now about their positioning?
Yeah, Lisa, I talked to Brad Stevens last week, and even he admitted, like, listen, there's a ton of unknowns here. There's 11 new faces that are going to be on the team. Only 4 returning players, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier. They got to replace 4 starters. But if you're Boston, you look at this roster, and listen, this whole summer was about getting better from last year. I think we saw it in the Eastern Conference Finals last season. Even without Isaiah Thomas when he left with that hip injury, the Celtics weren't on the same level as the Cavaliers. They feel like now, with Kyrie Irving at that point guard position, they've upgraded over Isaiah Thomas. They feel like with Gordon Hayward at that swingman spot, they maybe have a higher ceiling than they did with Jay Crowder. So they might not be better right now. It's going to take some time for all these pieces to come together. They've got 5 guys on the roster who haven't even played an NBA game, and that includes guys like Jason Tatum, the number 3 pick this year. They've got to figure a lot out, and that's going to be on Brad to be sort of the mad scientist and figure out how this all works. But I think if you're the Celtics, you think in May, when maybe you see the Cavs again in the playoffs, maybe then you'll be a better team than we saw this past May, and you give them a better chance, better competition for that chance to go to the finals.
All right, so, Chris, from short-term to long-term, they add Kyrie, they get Gordon Hayward. Danny Ainge clearly, again, as you said, looking deeper into the future as well. So with that being said, what, or maybe better yet, who is next for Boston?
22 trades over the past 4 seasons. You get the feeling it's not when, and not if, but when Danny Ainge will make his next move. You know, the name that's going to invariably come up is Anthony Davis, and I can feel all the people in New Orleans throwing their remotes at the TV right now. Fair or not, we look around the league, we see who are the next superstars that might become available. You know, you look at situations. The Celtics, clearly, they've got their point guard now in Kyrie. They've got young wings and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They feel like they have guys that are fit those positions, but they still need that big man. So if Anthony Davis, if they combust in New Orleans, if he becomes available, the Celtics still have all these assets where they could say, hey, look, we got young talent. We still have future picks. The Lakers could deliver a top 5 pick this draft. They still have the assets necessary to go pursue that guy. So it's going to be interesting. Trader Danny is never finished.
No, never finished. That's why you get all those assets. So you can go out and make deals
right when
they become available. Chris Forsberg, good stuff, man. Appreciate the time.